Welcome back to the Dime Comic Bros podcast. I am Spencer, joined by my co-host Colin, who's upset that I said it first, and Jacob.
I'm here.
You are, in fact, here. We are doing this remotely because we got a bit of a blizzard going on.
Big snowstorm.
In sunny New England.
Big snowstorm. Big.
Colin, are you okay?
I think we ask him that every single week.
That is probably true.
That is a question on the regular that I get.
Why be a patron and not talk to the show's host? This is what happens. Respond to our shit posts.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna pull up the shit on the thing. We've all read the thing, right?
What thing?
Also, our conversation about Moon Knight got thrown into the garbage. That
pisses me off. That's actually so lame. Bad. I got so angry that night.
So our topic for this week is Head Lopper, the first collected edition, which is Head Lopper and the Island, or A Plague of Beasts. The collected edition was released in October 2016. It collects the first 4 issues, as well as the epilogue. And all of these at the time were published independently before being picked up by Image Comics in 2015. Colin is the one who brought this series, and in particular this book, to our attention many moons ago. And we are finally getting around to talking about it and reading it. So, Colin, sir, would you like to give us a little bit of a summary, maybe?
Okay, so this is how I read this, was that, so we follow the character, the Head Lopper, also known as Norgal, who is carrying a witch's head known as Agatha. And her head is huge as fuck. She's a giant bitch. And he seems to be just living life, killing monsters, doing whatever. And then he gets himself stuck in a political kingdom debacle. And
You're a debacle.
The best I can summarize this book.
That's fair.
This book,
because after reading the other 3, knowing the other 3, because I've read all of them, this is super simple. So
it really is.
Yeah.
This one felt like Hellboy, the short stories collection, The Lost Book.
Yeah, doesn't it?
Yeah, it has a lot of a. I think this basically the way you described it when you found it was Hellboy with Adventure Time, basically, in terms of art and tone.
It's like D&D Hellboy Adventure Time.
Yeah.
Yes. Somebody made an Adventure Time D&D character in the Hellboy universe.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
Pretty much. I really like this. I was not surprised in the slightest because I've been looking forward to reading this for ages. And I, generally speaking, trust Colin's judgment, unlike Jacob, whose judgment I don't trust ever.
Oh, I thought you were saying that I don't trust Colin's judgment. I was like, what? Get out of here.
Colin and I have like the same taste, and you don't trust my judgment, so that's like you don't trust Colin's judgment. We're literally the same person. What are you talking about?
You made me watch Spider, the movie with Jake Gyllenhaal. That's
Fuck you. Enemy's great. Anyways.
I still haven't finished that.
You're an idiot. Anyways. I
couldn't help myself.
I was quite surprised by how simple the narrative was for being such a chunky book. It is pretty damn straightforward. It's a fun adventure romp with some spooky stuff and some flashbacks and like zero backstory on the protagonist whatsoever. We meet one of his friends and that's it. It feels like there's definitely going to be a hell of a lot more. But this, in the best way I can say it with absolutely no disrespect intended, it feels like a self-published book in a good way. It feels like this was one guy with a couple of friends to help with the coloring in his basement making a story. And then eventually it got picked up by a bigger publisher.
It also feels like it was an artist that wanted to make a book. Like the story almost feels secondary. There's a lot of
full pages of just artwork and action, and it makes it for a fun book to read because the story doesn't get in the way.
Yeah, it's also just fairly scant on dialogue and text in general. I think the usage of maps for every issue, along with the like geographical location, really helps. It reduces the need for a first or second panel like text bubble of like, hey, this is where the protagonist is located because they're doing this thing. Like that thing that happens in a lot of books, usually series that are published like concurrently and then recollected later. I always hate that. It drives me crazy. It's like you spend so much time recapping the last issue versus this just kind of feels like one book with chapters, and that's cool. It helps with the pacing. I read this in about an hour, and it's pretty big.
Yeah, it doesn't take that long to read it. It's a pretty breezy read.
I must say there was one time where there was a pretty foul word said, and it felt pretty out of place.
I loved that.
It like obviously there's language through the book, but that one was just like, wow, that was a little uncalled for. Like,
you mean when Agatha says,
mm-hmm.
I love that. It's so funny.
I think it was good. I think that was very in character for that to happen.
I thought it was funny. Like it felt like a nice comedic break. It was vaguely in character, but it was like, oh dang. Oh yeah, okay, this is an adult book. Ooh.
I see it's very in character because she's very much like a Deadpool type of character.
She kind of is.
She is.
She's got a foul mouth, and I get that, but it just seemed really extreme in that instance. It was like you could have just left it as something lesser. I don't know. Like it just.
I just don't think you like bad words.
It just felt like it was trying to be edgelord, shock value. Wow, big bad word.
I disagree.
I found the character far funnier than I thought I was going to. Usually comedic relief side characters that talk a lot, like the magical animal that goes along with the Disney princess on their adventure. I usually find those really freaking annoying. But she was
except for
funny.
Mushu.
Well, yes, Mushu doesn't count. He is a dragon.
Yes.
And Mulan is barely even a Disney princess. But yes. I don't know. I found her dialogue funny and relevant. It's also there are long segments where it's the only dialogue. It's just her talking mad shit.
Mulan has the best songs too.
Well, yes.
I just realized how different the artwork is from the next couple sequels. It's so different, especially in the first issue. I think he becomes more of his own art style as we progress through.
Well, that's always good.
Because the first issue is not anything like what you see in any of the other books, or like really what you see on the cover page.
That's nice. I thought Mike Spicer's coloring was freaking great. He doesn't do every single issue. I think it's issue 3. MacLean does on his own, but Spicer is a treasure. He has been one of my favorite colorists for ages. The palette is so vivid and clean. It pops. Everything looks good. It's not too high contrast. It's not too dark and edgy. It's not too it's vibrant without looking like the Teletubbies, It's not bright yellow that glow. I don't know. Some colorists are just a step above, and I think it works really well to convey tone because a lot of the poses are very dynamic in the sense that they kind of merge together. Like when not using action lines, a lot of the limbs kind of blur into blobs intentionally to show the motion and whatever. And I think that's really cool, but that can make it really difficult to follow if the colors in your backgrounds aren't chosen well.
Yeah, I don't really like motion blur, unless if it's drawn. So there's different types of motion blur of using editing in the software, or you actually draw motion blur yourself. Which, if I'm correct, I think Daniel Warren Johnson does like actually draws his motion blur. I don't think he adds that in effect. But I could be wrong. But like certain artists will do that. And I noticed when Andrew draws his, it's all drawn motion blur. It's not like it's edited in.
Oh, for sure. And I also really like his action lines in general. They're very they're very hefty. He's not afraid to cover up some of the art with really, really thick white lines. And that's ballsy for one. But it just works really well for some reason. I genuinely don't know why. Usually action lines are small and dark and they're just kind of there. You barely notice them. This is like every single motion is clearly mapped out by lines in every panel. And I really like it.
I really like that the action is very clear and precise, or you can at least trace and follow what happens. And there's a couple full page shots where you do have to trace the dots and be like, oh, okay, he jumped here to there, to there, to there. But it only adds to the artwork just how good the action and fighting scenes are. He can show a lot. He can pack a lot of movement into a single page.
I think the only thing that I really didn't like was the dark creature that the witch sisters were in charge of keeping locked up. I thought that was really weird. I wanted to find it funny because like it has like a face on its tail and whatever. I'm like, there's, I don't know.
Can I see a picture? I haven't.
Yeah, I was gonna ask the same thing. I don't remember this. The scorpion thing.
Oh, I didn't like that either.
I like the basic design of it just being like a really large like bug. That's fine. And I like the idea of the tail has a face on it as like a distraction. There are a lot of animals that are like that. I think a lot of butterflies have like recognizable patterns that kind of look like other creatures. That's cool. But the bright blue coloring with like the clown face was just too much. And it ruined the freaking tension.
For our listeners, it is a scorpion looking thing with a face on its tail and bug eyes where its face usually would be, like spider eyes.
Yes. And it's got a jewel in its chest. That was kind of cool. I don't care how dumb that sort of stuff is. Make it Power Rangers-y. Fuck it. Who cares? And then there was one little comedic exchange, which is something that stuck a lot. I kept thinking about it. And it was when Agatha, the witch head, is just chilling whilst Norgal is just making dinner, and she eats a fly. But it like because she can't actually eat anything, it like goes right back out her nose, and she cries about it. It's so funny.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. It's a nice moment where it makes you not totally hate this piece of crap who we're supposed to hate, and we don't even know what the hell she did. But it doesn't totally ruin it.
I don't think we're supposed to hate her because I never hate her.
I mean, in the sense of like you want to punt her head across a valley like he does. She's annoying. She's funny.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want to like kill her, but you're like, could you? You're driving me crazy. Could you shut up?
I mean, I don't hate you, but I want to punt your head across a valley.
Well, that's because, yeah, that's for other reasons.
Oh, okay, yeah.
There were at least 3 different gags where she eats something, and it didn't get old.
Nope, not at all.
And she will keep doing that. She will keep doing that.
That's nice. The little exchange with if you shut up, I'll give you this hand. That was great.
Do we get? I love that. Also, do we get introduced to Nim? It's like
Nim,
GN.
Yes.
Okay. When I first read this, I loved Nim. I thought he was so cute and he was just funny and he was just being a weirdo. It was like, oh, I hope we get to see more of him. No.
Oh. And then the last real thing that I had was I appreciate the fact that the treatment of the state-run religious sect are like weird Weasley shitheads who are kind of pedo-coded. That might just be me, but they're like selling people, and they're really prideful, hateful pieces of crap, and end up dying at the end of the book. I really like that note. That was nice.
I love it.
I hope this series gets a little bit more complex. I hope that there's a bit more, whether in theme or depth of backstory, but for a first outing on the whole, just it's really, really good across the board. The gripes I have are very small.
I think it's a great introduction to this because this also reminds me of the introduction that one gets while reading Berserk. Ooh. And it's just kind of like, even though very different tones, one's way darker and one's way simpler, but the similarity is that overall, it doesn't have a big effect on the character's story, but for you to be introduced to the character rather than the whole story of the universe, it's very good. So we're just introduced to Head Lopper and our main characters. And then in the next series, we'll be shown much more complex things. Because by the end of this, he leaves that island that he's on.
I noticed while reading it that the issues, at the very least, felt like they were different sizes. They might not have been. They might have been. I don't remember. I didn't honestly count them. But there was 1 or 2 issues where I was like, if this sold separately, I would feel cheated, I guess, if I had bought that issue by itself. It was so small, or it went so quick. Like, there were some that were packed and some that were not. And it was like, as a collected edition, it's great, but as single issues, I think it would have sucked. So that's lost to history, but it was interesting.
It's lost to history, but I think after this one, every collected edition was sold as a collected edition. Like the most recent one, number 4, wasn't sold in single issues. It was sold collected edition first. As far as I'm aware, I could be corrected, but I'm pretty sure because I couldn't find single issues anywhere.
Beautiful.
And then just on a general note, because I think it's something we all very deeply appreciate, there is a fat ass sketchbook in the back of this thing. And it's awesome.
There's a sketchbook in every single one.
And there's a cover by Mike himself.
Yeah. So Andrew is so like freaked out that like Mike actually made a cover of Head Lopper. That was like something like mind-boggling to him. That happened.
I honestly think the entire cover selection is awesome, but
yes,
that one is also pretty darn cool. It might actually be one of my least favorite ones, which is so weird.
Yeah, honestly, because
it's good. It's Mike.
It's basic.
It is.
Yeah, it's Mike. It's
some
Mike,
of these
but it's
are.
At this point in time, Mike got super simple with everything.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's not as entertaining as the other ones.
There's a titty on one of these covers.
Yes. All right. So one of the big things I love about Andrew MacLean's book, Head Lopper and the Head Lopper series, is that the book is filled in it's just smashed with art. The entire thing is art. So even when you open up the page and you're about to go read the first couple pages, if you look, you'll see that the pages that don't have the story or anything, they're not just like black or red or whatever. They have that like this pattern of just like certain just like probably like a bone of meat or like a knife or certain about like 4 images that are integral to the plot of the story. They're put into like this checkered diamond pattern on the pages. And I love that. That's one of the big things I love. And I love that at the very back of the page, you get to see all the characters on the back. They're just all together lined up and they're like sized up. So you can see all their different heights and in comparison with all the different characters. It's just really nice to see that.
That is not an argument I want to have because I don't argue, because I don't disagree. And also
said
Colin will-
smashed.
Oh my gosh. Jacob, have you been reading
Smashed.
Hulk again?
No.
No. So moving forward to Star Wars. We have the book-
Mandalorian season 3, episode 1.
Yes, basically.
It's
Book of
literally
Boba
what
Fett,
it is.
episode 5. Okay, can we just
Wrong.
get that bit out of the way? I actually, I kind
More
of
a
hate
lost,
that.
a lost episode from season 2, but I see what you're saying.
Spencer hates something that's fun.
No.
Wow.
I
What a
no, I
surprise.
loved this episode.
that we're calling
No.
this Mandalorian season
No,
3,
oh my
episode
God.
1, because it's clearly Book of Boba Fett.
No.
It's Fennec Chan. It's at the very last scene.
Colin, see, here's what I'm actually gonna say is the fact that this is the most talked about episode and is also clearly the one with the most amount of effort, highest budget, and the best reception is a problem for the Book of Boba Fett. It shows that they didn't put as much care or effort into it because one episode blew the other ones out of the water. Because it's a backdoor pilot for the show that backdoor piloted this show. That's stupid.
Yes.
The episode itself is fucking awesome.
Yep.
But
Well, no shit. This
setup was
clearly
really dumb.
shows how much they love the Mando way more than they love Boba Fett. They just like him more. Disney just likes him more. And
Yeah.
also, it just shows that The Mandalorian is just a better show than Boba Fett.
I don't think that was ever being disputed. I would like to think some of it could potentially be due to COVID in terms of the stuff they're able to do on set. But obviously you can't. I'm not saying the writing quality. I'm just saying purely in terms of like aesthetic. But this episode was a massive step up on like all fronts, particularly visual, as everyone's been jizzing about. Freaking
Halo.
Also, yes, we got a Halo ring.
That's so weird.
Oh,
That's so weird. Why did that come out of the blue?
I think it was actually supposed to be an homage to Treasure Planet, but that might have just been me. It gave off those vibes more than a Halo ring, but obviously good meme. Bryce Dallas Howard is one of the best directors they have working on Star Wars properties, and everyone's just nutting about it, which they're right. It's
At
just
first, I was disagreeing with people about that because I don't like her first episode.
the first one was kind of rough. It still looked good, but it was people wise not as good. But she seems to be really good with like the actors, and also
And
they
then
got,
she got chapter 11, which was fantastic. So I was like, okay, girl.
quite. I think,
And then the newest one, her, and this one, fantastic.
I really appreciated the oneer that they did. They weren't like, oh, we're gonna do a oneer in an action sequence to flex. Like it just was a nice shot that it consisted of 2 different floors and an elevator. That was nice.
Yeah, I liked that. I liked that a lot.
We're finally seeing Mando being sad and depressed, which we were getting very excited. It's lost to time because of the internet, but last week we were freaking the fuck out about that because we knew that was coming.
Because at the very end of the last episode, we heard his anthem, but we didn't think we were going to get him right off the bat. We didn't think we were going to get a full episode of him.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping it wasn't going to be an entire episode of backstory. I was hoping it was going to be a brief, hey, get in, loser, we're going shopping moment, you know?
Yeah, but it's not, which I'm annoyed about because then I wish we had, instead of, what do we got, 6 episodes? I wish we had 7 episodes then. I wish we have 7?
Yeah.
It's 7.
Oh,
so it's
okay,
really
never mind.
only 6.
So that's fine.
I
guess never mind then.
This feels more like the premiere of season 3 of Mandalorian. It's not as grand as the premiere probably would be, but otherwise, like story-wise, it sets up his arc moving forward in the next season, gives you clear story progression, a lot of backstory. It brings back recurring characters. And it's like, so are they going to replay this episode when Mandalorian season 3 comes out? Because otherwise you're going to miss a big chunk of shit.
Then that's everyone else's problem. You need to be following these things. We've already learned that you need to be following. If you care about these characters or you care about your own characters, you need to be following the other storylines. And it's not that hard. Just watch an episode.
On the one hand, if you're a fucking nerd, yes. But on the other hand, for casual, like that is a fault of your art if it can't stand on its own. If it's not a complete package to some extent, if it's missing a good chunk because it's in something else, that's a fault of the show.
I don't think we're gonna need this episode in the next season. We'll be fine.
What?
And
It sets up he gets a new ship. He sets up the fact that he's gonna go get
wait, let me
Grogu
finish my
again.
sentence. Wait, let me finish my sentence.
What?
Oh
It
my
sets up
word.
everything.
What? Let me just interrupt your entire statement.
We don't need that because we can just do an intro. There's an intro to things, and people get, oh, there's that. If I really care enough, I'll go back and watch that episode.
That's lame, though.
It's not a problem on their art. It's a problem on the observer not paying attention or caring enough to watch the other things or to pay attention.
If we weren't covering this show, Colin, you probably wouldn't have watched it.
No, I would have watched it, you dumb ass. Of course I would watch it. It's a Star Wars property. You dumb
Star
fuck.
Wars. You.
Of course I'd watch it.
Whatever.
We frequently bitch about comic books doing this, a very important issue being inserted into another run so that you can understand what's happening in the run you're reading.
So I understand that because there's a difference between watching and then like reading and trying to find. So comics is way more vast and numerous than our little TV shows that we have right now. It's not that hard to keep up with the TV shows that we have. It is not that hard.
I think it's
not that much.
I think it's the
Wars.
principle. It's not a matter of how much actual effort is. It's a matter of the point. You shouldn't have to go to something else to get a complete story in a different show. If you want to watch Mandalorian, you shouldn't need to go watch another show. Not just, well, technically you can follow. It's like saying, I want to watch Daredevil, but a massive chunk of his arc is in Defenders. So technically I can just watch season 1, 2, and 3.
And this is not a massive chunk. So the thing is, it's not like
sets
it's a
up
couple
the whole season
It's
arc.
not like it's a couple episodes of him. It's one episode. You can literally just take this episode out of the Book of Boba and watch that, then go to season 3. It's not like you have to watch a couple episodes of Boba, then watch this episode, then go to that. You can literally just take this episode out.
For now, we haven't seen the rest of Book of Boba.
And that was one of my other.
You could.
That was one of my
Okay.
other points, was the fact that I don't know how the timeline lines up here in terms of, it's my last point, because at the end of this episode, he says, sure, I'll come work for you for free. Don't worry about it. But I need to go visit someone first, obviously implying he's going to go either get Grogu again and take him away from Luke, or he's going to go visit him. So does that mean that the next episode...
Crap, that's true.
Yeah, exactly. Does that mean that the next episode of Boba Fett's going to be that? Or does that mean that then the first few episodes of Mandalorian are going to be that arc? Is that the entire season of Mandalorian season 3 takes place between these two episodes of Boba Fett? Like, what? That doesn't line up in terms. It doesn't make sense why they would set it up structurally like that. I'm sure it'll be fine. It's just, why would, like, he's doing a small little thing. He's going to go help Boba Fett for like 2 episodes tops, and then he's done.
Okay.
Why the fuck wouldn't you do that? Then go, I'm going to go get the baby so we can have the next show. Why are they overlapping in that sense?
Understandable. I think we should end our little hissy fit about that, and let's talk about the actual episode.
Well, I
with the
wanted
things
to-
that entail inside of it.
I want to defend my point one last time. Colin is right. With comics are different because that means you have to trace down which issue you need and buy it, whereas all of this is on the same streaming service that you're paying one price for.
That's fair. So actual episode wise, just cute little thing. The bag of chainmail, which is cool, looks like a Yoda head, and that's cute.
Oh yeah, you think it's chainmail?
They made links. The armor
you
literally made
really
a pile
think-
of links.
Oh, you really think that it's chainmail? Oh, you really think you saw the links? It's probably just a metal ball.
I wanted a helmet.
I know. I wanted a helmet.
I don't
too.
think they'd ever give him a helmet. He's too cute. They need the it's like putting a mask on a superhero actor. They're gonna take it off constantly. There's no real need for it.
Is freaking stupid that they took his big ass fighting stick spear thing and only made this tiny little whatever in the bag.
No, he made the little thing, and then the rest is for the foundlings.
I did not see a rest. Did I miss the rest?
You don't need to see the rest. You just know because he said it.
I didn't hear him say it. That's what I'm asking.
He said for the foundlings, and then, but I need you to make something else for a specific foundling.
I think it could more be inferred because that's what happened last time when he needed armor. There was leftovers, and he's like, "I give it to the kiddos." So I that's what I was pulling from that. But I think it was cute. It was nice to see the armorer again, and then the other Mandalorian who's a Vizsla, whose first name I don't remember, who's played by Jon Favreau. It was nice to see him come back. I was hoping that they were going to follow up on that character because it's like he's literally tied to the lineage of the Darksaber. Please don't not do that. That would be lazy.
I like that too. I'm glad that the armorer made him some chainmail for Baby Yoda before she excommunicated him.
I really appreciate the fact that I think she already knew and was like kind of doing him a favor before bringing it up is what I kind of got out of it.
So
I think it sets up a very large arc for the next season because that's a lot. Like he can either go full apostate in terms of like his sect and just go, fuck it, I'm just going to do my own thing. I'm going to hang out with Boba Fett. I'm going to take my helmet off. Fuck you guys. Or he's going to go on like his own internalized redemption arc, or he'll go on his own internalized redemption arc and then realize he doesn't have to because it's a bunch of nonsense.
So it's interesting that he still has the Darksaber, so he can still rule Mandalore even though he's been excommunicado from his sect.
yes,
And
because I'm sorry.
It's okay. One more point kind of off of that is that they tried to retcon the stupid freaking thing from the animated show where the Darksaber was gifted to somebody and the armor was like, oh, they lost their way. This is the way. Oh, that.
Yeah,
do you know the way?
Yeah, the Darksaber was gifted to Bo-Katan from Sabine. And because that was when the original rule was brought up in Mandalorian season 2. That's why people were like, wait, hold on. Wasn't she gifted it and didn't win it in combat? Is that just a discrepancy? Are they changing it? Or like
that's
whatever?
been talked about.
So I like the fact that they solidified that wasn't what it was supposed to be. And that may or may not have had something to do with her, metaphorically speaking, not taking control of Mandalore and having it fall. That was cool. I think we're taking back Mandalore. I think that's going to be the arc of the next season too, is we're taking back the entire planet.
Sounds like a punk rock CD. Taking back Mandalore.
True.
I would love that.
That shit got nuked.
Yeah. I don't know how exactly they would take it back in the sense of like how we see Mandalorians doing things like that. But I don't know. Maybe they could probably just rebuild and whatever. But
I think that's like
I like that.
That's the Avengers team up of all the shows.
Yeah. I like that. He still has the sword though. Like Vizsla didn't try to still take it or whatever. That they actually do stick to their code of honor and whatever. Because we've had Mandalorians who are not Mandalorian, like Darth Maul.
Yeah. The last real point I had was I didn't totally pick up on it. I went back and watched the last episode of season 2. The Darksaber is quite heavy, and I appreciated that they kept following up on that. I think it might have more to do with the fact that he doesn't have an aptitude with the Force, but I like the fact that it's just this heavy, like angry sword that he can barely freaking use. Like I don't understand the science. I don't know how the hell the science works on that. I don't care. It's cool.
They've talked about it in Rebels. They've actually they've talked about it in Rebels where the sword's heavy, and it basically the armor says the same things to him that that the Jedi Master in Rebels said to the Mandalorian female. I can't remember their names. The guy that went blind and the girl that gifted the Mandalorian sword, the Darksaber to. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw something where someone did like a side by side. It's like the same thing. So
I think they put it on steroids.
This has been in continuity since then.
Yeah. It's just nice that they're not forgetting that sort of a detail. It's becoming relevant
Yeah.
rather than just being a background detail.
Yeah, I'm glad. Also, something else that's wizard is that spaceship.
Oh, it's so hot. Oh,
Dude,
it's
I love
so shiny.
I love that you got another ship that's basically it's the same color scheme. It's like all silver-ish, and then there's some little bits of yellow standing out.
Mm-hmm.
It's like on the
And
wings and shit.
He test piloted it over the pod racing freaking
That was
yeah.
nice.
I love that it's like a souped up version that feels so funny because it feels like Disney, whatever, people have been watching TikToks of all these kids like souping up their cars and shit, and then they just put it in this because like I feel like that's what happened because I've been watching a bunch of those TikToks and that just happens to be in this. I'm like, oh my word, this is so weird. It's souped up and it's got a little cockpit for Baby Yoda.
Yeah, I like how they're like, oh yeah, we pulled out the astromech bit, and it's like they're gonna put the baby in there, aren't they? It's gonna be.
And there's a dome. There's literally a dome.
I was really annoyed by Mando's mechanic. She just got under my skin this episode, and I don't know why.
I thought she was so funny. I thought she was so
driving
funny.
me crazy.
I loved her. I loved that entire experience.
I didn't really care. I think when she first appeared last season, I think I probably said she was annoying. I feel like it's just kind of mellowed out a little bit.
She's been around since season 1.
Yeah.
Was it that? Oh, yeah, because that was episode 5 when they went to Tatooine. Right.
Yeah.
I think I was the other way around from you. I was like, she's fine. And then just last night when I watched it, I was like, please shut up. You're killing me. But when he was test flying it, I was really impressed with how good it looked and how fast his ship felt.
Wicked.
Like,
yeah.
They had some pretty far away, wide, long, whatever shots, and it still felt like that thing is freaking flying.
Oh, yeah.
So
that was
done.
Very, very nice. I was kind of nervous when I saw that it was a Royal Starfighter. I thought it might kind of come across like fan servicey, and it didn't. I know the dreaded fan service. It was nice.
No, I think it would have felt like fan service if we got a Jedi Starfighter, like series 2, series 1 or 2.
Oh, that would have been bad.
I think that would have been fan service, and I think it's cool that they took this out of episode 1 because out of all the Star Wars movies, I think that one's the one that people don't want to go back to with things, especially ships too. That's true. That was probably the best ship out of all of them.
Yeah, it's a good ship.
You can make an argument between that or the Queen ship, or
if he started spinning,
ship.
I would have killed myself though. If he was like, I should try spin it, then I would have died. That would have been too much.
Boomer moment. Those ships were included in video games when episode 1 came out, and they were fantastic. So I'm glad that they were able to polish off that fleck of gold from the turd. Like, there's obviously good and bad things from the prequels, and that's one of the good things. So
I think the ships across the board were all fucking phenomenal.
Yeah. I think all the ships were really cool, but I think in episode 1 it was kind of lackluster. So that was like the only fighter that was good,
I guess. My last point was just him flying commercially was absolutely hilarious.
That was great. I was scared that this episode was literally just going to be him losing the Darksaber and then trying to find it again. Because that's going to be so annoying. I don't want to watch this if that's what my plot is. I don't want to watch that. But everything was there. But I liked how much he had to empty. I thought it was weird that he emptied his gauntlets rather than just take off his gauntlets. Like, that was way more work than it had to be, but he just didn't want to take off his armor.
I think that maybe they wanted to remind us that he still has those. Maybe, I don't know. It was nice. It was just a really good episode across the board. Also, I forgot he chopped that dog man in half. That was great.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was such a Mando before Grogu moment. Like, that whole scene.
He's such an angry, sad daddy.
Love it.
Needs
I
his
love my
child.
angry sad man.
That's all I got. I really enjoyed this. I think it's contrasting too highly against the Book of Boba Fett, which is making me sad because I really do want. I like it and I want it to be better. It's just there are some parts that are very not thought out too much. It feels kind of rushed.
In Book of Boba?
Yeah, like it feels like it's a little slapdash, and that's not good. But this is clearly very high effort.
I've gone back and watched the episode where he hires those kids and how they are. They annoy the shit out of me every single time I see them.
I think I will probably enjoy it a lot on a binge, but I don't know.
I have not enjoyed it on a binge. But the reason why I hate it, hold on one second. The reason why I hate it is because so far they're not being given any like progression. They're just like these kids. They feel like they're designed to look cool and be cool, but they're acting like stupid kids. Like it feels like the writers and the directors don't realize that they are coming off as stupid kids. It feels like they're trying to make them these cool, badass guys, but they're not. But if they're trying to make them look like kids that are trying to be badass, then there should be some story plot line to them being better. Because right now we're not getting any of that. It just looks like awful writing. I
would agree with that. I really hope that next episode is a nice synthesis between these two, and it doesn't throw all of the attention in Mando's direction, because it's still Boba's show. Even if it's messy and not as good, you shouldn't dictate all of the attention going to the more popular character.
Colin did not watch episode 4 before we talked about it. So what do you think about their speeder bikes now that you've seen the episode?
I don't like them. I do not like them. They don't feel like they fit. They don't feel like they fit, and I don't care. I feel like if you don't have, they don't have work, right? How do they have souped up scooters that look super nice in a desert planet?
I think they're recent, like Coruscant immigrants or something like that. It is what they've come across. Like they came from a rich planet and there's nothing to do on Tatooine.
Yep. But also I don't like the shapes of them. They're too round. They don't feel lived in as Star Wars is supposed to feel. And they just feel they're not Star Wars to me. They just don't. People can like them, whatever. I already don't like those people in general anyway.
What do you mean by those people?
You
cyborgs, bitch. I don't like your kind. Cybernetic.
Don't be jealous I have a robotic cock.
Speaking of robotic cocks.
Oh my.
I would like to start our personal topics by talking about Taskmaster.
Ugh.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about Robot Chicken.
No. It was written in 2020, I believe.
2020 in my butt.
Yes, it was a series that ran from 2020 to 2021. 5 whole issues.
Ooh.
Written by a dude.
A dude.
What was this dude's name? I
Good
don't remember.
Question.
Taskmaster was written by Jed McKay, penciled by Alessandro Vitti, and it was first published in November 11th of 2020. Maria Hill is Kill, and Nick Fury is like, well, crap, it has to be related to this super secret project that I need unlocked. It can only be unlocked by the actions of 3 different people, Phil Coulson, Okoye, and a third one. The chick that directs the freaking Korean Avengers, whatever those guys are called. Anyway, so he hires Taskmaster to follow those people and get their movements, download how they move and act and whatever, so that he can unlock the super secret thing and figure out who killed Maria Hill. There's pressure, there's heat on Taskmaster as he's doing this, because Black Widow, for some reason, is the one that's pissed off that Maria Hill is killed and is trying to track him down and make him pay for having committed the murder, even though he did not. It was fine. The artwork is quite lovely, pretty consistent across the board. His character, I'm not super familiar with. He came across kind of Deadpool-y, which I guess makes sense. Not as quippy and jokey as Deadpool, but fairly close. They're comparable. It makes sense to me because he is kind of untouchable until it comes to the Black Widow, of course, because that's what the story needed. So when you're untouchable, you can get pretty happy-go-lucky, sarcastic, not really caring about anything. It ended with a great big middle finger, and I was kind of unhappy with how it ended. It didn't make sense. The whole run kind of set him up as an anti-hero. Like, he doesn't mind doing good things or bad things, like pretty standard mercenary stuff. And then this one, he was like, I'm a bad guy, F you guys. So it kind of felt like not much of a payoff. It was a bit of a letdown. I kind of wish there was more, though. I kind of enjoyed this run. I am quite bummed that it was held to 5 issues. I bought it as single issues, all packaged together from our friends at Jetpack Comics and Games in downtown Rochester, New Hampshire, for $15. The cover price for each issue is $4. So 4 times 5 is 20. I save $5 and it's fine.
Damn, bro. That's just crazy.
Damn, bro.
So did he actually do the murder is the question.
No, he did not.
So why is he a bad guy? You have to, I need elaboration on this. You can't just be like, he does a dumb twist.
Well, I didn't want to spoil it for our listeners.
Tell me.
The thing he's unlocking is some old system, weapon system that S.H.I.E.L.D. built a long time ago. So I don't really know why unlocking that leads to Maria Hill's murder, but it turns out she was not murdered. She faked it to get Taskmaster to unlock it because she had to disarm it. So in the last 2 pages, he says he logs in with the 3 keys basically, and then says, fuck you, and blows up the place because I'm a bad guy.
Yeah,
Nobody can control me. Yeah.
Huh.
Weird. Where were you when Maria Hill was killed?
It would have been so much better if he just blackmailed them into paying him for doing the job, and then he walks away. Like,
Yeah.
why? I don't get it. Colin, what have you done this week?
I
Yeah, man.
I've watched monkeys. I've watched apes. I've watched the and I've watched the Caesar.
Ooh.
I recently watched Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Oh shit. Oh.
Yeah,
You're on a Matt Reeves kick, aren't you?
Yeah, I am.
Oh.
So I rewatched this because I watched Dawn first and then Rise because I remember Rise when it came out. And when I rewatched Rise, it's like, oh, okay, so I didn't miss much. But I'm going to talk about Rise today. So Rise of the Planet of the Apes, of course, is about the story about, I can't remember his name, but this main character who is trying to figure out a cure to Alzheimer's, which his dad has, and he is using chimpanzees to test the substance on. And one of them, the only one that they are testing it on at the moment, reacts very quickly and responds very nicely to it. And they call her Bright Eyes. And she figures out these like codes and these puzzles that they have her do. But in trying to bring her to a little viewing session with the shareholders of this project, she escapes she's actually does not want to leave her cage, but they force her out of her cage, and she's super angry and feisty, and they don't understand why. She gets out of her cage because she's forced out of it, runs, and they're trying to detain her, but in doing so, she accidentally gets shot by the security in the building in front of the shareholders. And they find out after being told that they can't do any more experimentations, they have to put down all the chimpanzees. They find out that she had a child, and the reason why she was acting so weirdly and protective is because when they brought her in, she had a baby. And so the guy who's running the test takes in the chimp, even though he doesn't want to, but otherwise I'll have to put him down. He brings him into his home, realizes how smart and intelligent he is, like his mother, and looks at his eyes and sees that he also has the same bright eyes, like these green eyes. And so he does tests on him.
Colin, is this an autobiography?
Yes.
Okay, just asking.
As it progresses, this chimp, who is named Caesar, is taken away from his home while trying to protect the father of the main character who has Alzheimer's, gets taken away, meets all these other chimps, and he frees them and gives them all the juice because, ape good, human bad. And they all escape to the woods where Caesar used to be taken to when he was younger and living with his human father. And boom,
Monkey.
The end. Monkey good. Ape good. Ape no kill ape. Love this movie. It's my least favorite of the three.
It's definitely the least exciting one, but it's a really good foundation for Matt Reeves to come in and then just blow everything out of the water.
Yeah, it's a really good foundation. It wasn't as interesting as Dawn because I actually love the ape storyline way more than seeing any human stuff. I like seeing them because for some reason they just seem way more human and emotional than like the human characters do.
Oh, is that
probably
intentional? Maybe.
I was gonna say that's intentional.
Well, yeah, it's intentional, but they're just so much more interesting. I just love it, and I love how they have their little society and stuff like that. But that's in the next movie. But yes, Rise of the Planet of the Apes, very good movie. I give it a 6 out of 7. I would rewatch it.
Damn.
What have you been consuming into your butthole, Spencer?
So I am very tempted to talk about Beta Ray Bill again, mostly for Jacob's edification.
Please do it.
Oh,
Please
fine,
do
fuck
it.
All right. Okay. So I'm kind of cheating because I talked about it last week, but no one got to hear me.
But the recording was lost, so you're talking about this week. Bitch.
Yeah. So I read Beta Ray Bill, Argent Star, which is the 5-issue miniseries from Daniel Warren Johnson. It came out through 2021. And frankly, this would have been my book of the year if I had actually read it last year, because I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
And I was lazy.
Yeah.
Yep. So basically, it is a side quest in a sense to the King in Black event. Technically, it ties in, but only technically. It is an excuse for why Thor is mostly absent from the event, as well as just setting up the big monster in the beginning of the book, which has no greater relevance. Long story short, Bill is sad because he looks like a horse and he can't go back to looking like a normal orange man because, long story short, Thor's a dickhead and broke Stormbreaker, so he cannot utilize the magic that Odin gave him to go back to his normal form. So he's stuck being big, strong man with hole in face.
You said normal orange man, and you're making this far too political.
But does he have a horse cock?
I'm gonna get to the horse cock in a second.
Okay, get to the horse cock. Soon.
Oh my gosh, Colin! So I'm getting so excited about the horse cock. So
I'm excited about the horse cock.
Oh, okay. So basically, Bill is upset because he's ugly, for one. Thor always is able to come in and swoop up the credit and the hose. And Bill is trying to rekindle a romance with Lady Sif. And she's like, hey, you want to come to my bed chambers? And
I mean, Sif is hot, so yes.
True, exactly.
So yes.
And Bill's like, yeah. And then she's like, oh shit, you can't change back, can you? And he's like, yeah, no. So he gets somewhat rejected. It's weird. It's not like
so
it's not like a
me
Beta Ray
horse
cock.
His horse cock got rejected.
It is at current state unknown if he has horse cock. He may not even have a dick. But basically, he looks like crap, and it's actually a very nice, fairly tender moment where Sif looks at him and is like, "Oh yeah, you can't right now, can you?" And he has like his shirt off, and he side eyes himself in the mirror, and he's like, "It's okay, I have eyes," and it's like, dude, it just. So basically, Bill feels ugly is what this entire story is about. So Bill needs to go on a quest to get a sword called Oblivion from hell, basically. Which used to be Surtur's sword, except there's some tension there because Surtur was the person who killed Bill's entire species at his planet and blah, blah, blah. Surtur is big and flamey man, whatever. So Bill goes on a quest. He finds Odin. He's like, Odin, you should fix this because you can give me the magic again. And Odin's not the All-Father anymore. He's just vibing in a bar, like making his own brew. So he doesn't have enough magical power to do anything, but he can send him in the direction of the sword. So Bill, along with Pip the troll, who's kind of a fanboy of Bill because fellow ugly boy, and
Are you just talking about yourself? Did you just put yourself in the story?
shut up. And Scourge the Executioner, who comes back from the dead. He comes from Valhalla because he has one last mission to complete. And that is to be Beta Ray Bill's wingman. It's this strange dude bro vibe, and I love it. So they go on a quest with Scuttlebutt, Beta Ray Bill's brain AI ship friend thing.
Did you just say Scuttlebutt?
Scuttlebutt, that's her name.
Scuttlebutt.
Scuttlebutt.
Love it.
It's very strange. So they go to hell. They do some questing. They fight some demons and some hell spawn. They get the sword. He does a bit of a good punch up with Surtur. They get some fisticuffs going. Long story short, and it ends with so he gets the sword. The sword can be enchanted to get him back into normal form. He looks like himself again, quote unquote. And then it ends on this really, really sad note. Not in terms of being like a cliffhanger or anything, but in a wrapping up the theme of the book. Despite it being loud, obnoxious, bloody, bright, and metal as hell, it has a fairly universal theme. So Bill he looks quote unquote normal. He's humanoid. He's orange and has no nose, but like whatever. And everyone's like, congrats, you got the sword, you did the thing, you did the quest. And he's like, yeah. And he's looking out, he's looking into a mirror, and he doesn't see what he actually looks like. He still sees the horse creature thing. It's a recurring motif that's used throughout the whole book. It basically equates to the fact that you can't, your outward perception, but doesn't really affect your own self-image that much. You aren't going to magically feel better about yourself because everyone thinks you're hot. It can help, but it's not going to solve the problem that you're insecure and you don't accept yourself. And it Colin, shut up. Yes, it hits a lot of points for me, and I enjoyed it very much.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, why'd you go buy it immediately after I started talking about it then, fat boy?
Shut up.
Yeah. Anyways, strong recommend. It's a breezy read. I read it in like 45 minutes. It looks great. The art's perfect. Daniel Warren Johnson does no wrong. Swear to God. I bought it for like $16. Whole
You're just
price, don't
kissing
care.
up because you want an interview.
I mean, I do, but also this book was awesome. No
The art is fantastic.
like no qualms whatsoever. Jacob, what have you been
Well,
doing?
while you were talking, I just realized that there's so much more Sandman than I thought there was out there. And my wallet is crying right now. But that has nothing to do with what I did this week. I read The Amazing Spider-Man, The Clone Conspiracy.
Ooh.
It
Oh, no.
came
Oh, no.
out in 2017 as the collected edition, but it started in 2015 and ran through 2016. It takes a while to compile everything into a big book, I guess.
So these things, so that whole clone era was recently, huh?
No, there have
Yeah.
been multiple clone eras. The OG clone saga was in the 90s. That was
Oh.
a nightmare.
This Clone Conspiracy was written by Dan Slott. And the book includes The Amazing Spider-Man, some Silk, and The Prowler 1 through 5.
Ooh.
So right off the bat, the first page gives you a lovely chart or a reading order.
Oh,
Because Marvel did it again, like they always do. They kind of refuse to do it any other way. They have all of The Amazing Spider-Man, and then all of the Clone Conspiracy, and then all of Silk, and then all of Prowler. So
ew.
you have to have 4 or 5 different tabs going inside of your book and flip backwards and forwards all the time.
That sucks.
The main premise is that somebody is bringing back dead people from the Amazing Spider-Man's storyline, world, universe, whatever you want to say. And Spider-Man does not like it because there's something wrong about it, and he has to investigate and put a stop to it because people need to stay dead.
True.
True.
Is for every shocking reveal, I was kind of lost because there were apparently everybody in Spider-Man's world has died.
Yeah.
And I did not know most of these people had died. I was very, very confused. So it was like, he's back. And it's like, he died? What? So that kind of took away most of the punch of the story for me. It was an interesting read. It is a nice short book. I want to say like 300-ish pages.
That's not bad.
I'm not seeing it online. It's fairly small. It's a nice hardcover trade. A little bit of a chunk to it, but not bad. It's nice. Cover price is $60. I got it for like $20 or $30 through some pretty cool deals. I mean, if you're up on Spider-Man lore, it's worth the $20 or $30. But
Spider-Man.
for me, I was kind of lost, and it was just jumping in the middle of somewhere and reading some Spider-Man stuff. So maybe not so worth it for a casual Spider-Man enjoyer, but for a hardcore fan, must buy.
Probably not the best idea for you to jump into that storyline.
Well, excuse me for buying a freaking chunky hardcover trade and thinking it collects a whole story.
No, you'd be wrong.
You guys give me shit for buying omnibuses. I want everything.
I've never given you shit for buying an omnibus. They're great.
I think you have. I don't know.
When the
I don't
fuck would I give you shit for buying an omnibus? They're perfect. I'm
Hi,
about to
guys.
go buy 2 more.
Just give you shit.
What are you getting?
The new 52 Batgirl and then the Batgirl
Oh.
and Burnside omnibuses, which are back to back.
Oh.
Ooh. which is some of like the
my.
most best disregarded Batgirl stuff. Batgirl of Burnside is very like pop fun, and
Yes.
Gail Simone's New 52 run is god tier.
All right, so I got a question that I need to go to Jetpack and ask about.
Oh boy.
Where is it? I freaking bookmarked it. It's in the announcements for everything coming out this year for Marvel. So you have the Venomnibus, all of Danny Cates' Venom put together, right? And it's got where did it go? King in Black 1 through 5 in it, right? But then they're also bringing out the King in Black omnibus.
Right.
So it's like, do I really have to have all of the extra things that's included in the King in Black omnibus to enjoy King in Black, or can I just get the Venomnibus?
Yeah, I have no freaking clue. I haven't read that. I've been waiting for the omnibuses. They're sitting in my wish list for whenever I get around to buying them.
Right? Because it's like I get really annoyed finding all the one-offs that fit in the story, or like the 3-issue run that I don't need all of that crap. I just want a smaller book with the most important things for the event and just the main storyline, which would be Venom. So anger.
Yeah, I mean there is a paperback of just the King in Black story, which is hold on.
Right. I've seen that before, but that would be included in the Venomnibus.
Yeah.
So it's like, do I need all the smaller things that come with the King in Black omnibus?
I don't know, do you?
Ah!
Yeah, you should probably ask someone way more knowledgeable about that. Not the dumb fuck who hasn't actually been keeping up with it. Also, both
Venom
of these
stuff is so good.
Yeah. Also, both of these omnibuses are $60 on Amazon. Ugh.
What?
Jeez.
Dude,
Oh,
DC.
Batgirl?
Yeah, DC's
Gotcha.
been really getting on their omnibus game. They've also been republishing some of their older ones with just new editions. The prices are great right now.
So
Cover price of like $1 to $175 for an omnibus is fucking crazy. Like, I get it, but fuck you. I want to go on Amazon. I will pay Daddy Bezos money for cheap omnibuses. It's like the only thing I'll buy on Amazon.
Yep, Colin.
I need a question. Yes.
I have no idea how I come up with questions so quickly on the spot. I've tried to think about it through the week and I can't come up with anything. But on the spot right now, you have a frog as Thor and you have a horse as Thor. If you were given copyright free open season, what would be the next logical animal to make into a Thor?
Well, the next logical thing for Thor animals would be to solidify the idea that horse Thor has enormous horse cock.
No,
but if
somebody's
I was
already
going to
talking
make, yes, but they haven't solidified it. We don't know for sure.
You want a solid horse cock?
I would draw the solid horse cock.
I know you would. You'd probably do it while shitting at work.
Yes, I would. Animal Thor wouldn't be. That's difficult. Horse Thor, frog Thor. Oh, a rooster, a literal cock.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it would be a rooster. I'd draw a rooster Thor. I'd make a story about Rooster Thor, and then we can solidify the cock of the cock.
To be fair, the color palette kind of matches.
Yeah, it does. Cock Thor. That's all you need to know.
No, come on.
What?
I think that's good.
I honestly thought you were going to go with a monkey or an ape.
No, I think a Rooster Thor would be so funny to see because it's small, but it's just like angry. It'd be so funny just to see him having to do things.
I think you need to draw some concept art of this to try to sell it to us.
But a chimpanzee Thor would be cool too. I think that would be cool. I might have to draw that now.
Cool. Well, Spencer, what have you done this week?
Oh, okay. All right. This is the one.
Uh-oh.
This is the one. I've been working on this for a while now.
Swamp Ass!
Nope. I'm trying to finish that today. Hold on. Let me pull up the fucking. I really want to finish that today. There we go. The other thing I've been working on that is not Swamp Ass, the new 52 Omnibus, Rorschach. It is a 12-issue Black Label miniseries from DC, written by Tom King, illustrated by Jorge Fornes, and colored by Dave Stewart.
Dave Stewart does a lot of colors too.
Yep. All right. So this took me about 2 weeks to read. It's very dense because 1, Tom King is a very dense writer. Anyways, 2, it is a very slow detective story with a lot of background information and a lot of inference. It's just got a lot going on. So the simple stuff, the art's wonderful. It's great. It has an air of Dave Gibbons' Watchmen, but not too much. It's still very detective-y. It's got a lot of nice pencil sketches, good inking, great coloring. Okay. Basically, this has nothing to do with Watchmen. Basically. So this technically takes place after the Watchmen TV show. So there are multiple different iterations of Watchmen canon, depending on how much of a purist you are. So you have the original book. You have the Before Watchmen miniseries, which most people kind of take as canon because it was all like fine. And it doesn't like retcon anything major. You have the Watchmen sequel TV series. And you also have Doomsday Clock, which is different from the TV show. So there's like 2 branching paths if you want to include everything. And then Rorschach is down the path of the TV show. But the TV show has almost no relevance to it. It is a background detail of the fact that it is offhandedly referenced that something happened out in Oklahoma involving Rorschach. So the world doesn't really know what happened during that series. Dr. Manhattan hasn't like gone public again. Now that there's more than one of them, they're off doing whatever. Basically, this is a murder mystery, but we find out who the killers are in the first issue. So it's uncovering information about the killers, how they got there, what's going on, why they did what they did, blah, blah, blah. This book is basically a Rorschach test. I hate to say that because it sounds like a cop-out. This has so much going on in it. I need to read it a ton more times. I think depending on what you walk in expecting to find and what sort of a reader you are, what your own storytelling inclinations are, is going to dictate how you read the book. I cannot tell you how much of that is intentional or how much of that is just whatever. But if you're going in expecting a Watchmen sequel, you're obviously going to be disappointed. But beyond that, if you're looking for a mystery and you're just engaged in the mystery, you'll probably find the mystery interesting and cool. If you are like me and you really are into socioeconomics, you're going to be looking all over the different political angles of this. If you're into just comics, there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of really meta commentary on comics in general and on storytelling. It's a lot. It's a think piece. And I think that's the best way to put it. And I think it does, in a sense, carries on the legacy of Watchmen. I think it's worthy of the name, even though it has very little to do with Rorschach, and it has literally nothing to do with Walter Kovacs, like nothing. It has to do with the mask and the ideas behind it, and the fact that literally everyone has a different interpretation of what that means. That doesn't mean that they're all equally correct, but it does mean that everyone has a different interpretation of the ink blots. And that it goes for the ink blots on the pages of this book as well. And I think that's really cool, but oh my gosh, my head hurts and I need to read it more, but also it's hard to read.
So Is it read as a collected edition or is it read as single issues?
It's a collected edition. It's a hardcover. It has a very nice cover. The dust jacket is garbage. As usual.
Where did you get it?
I got it from Jetpack. I don't know if they have a lot of copies lying around. I had it on my pull list.
Because this sounds like super interesting. Like I am very interested in what you're talking about. I like books and stories that are like that, where it's kind of like, it's not a to B story. It's here's all these things. How do you feel about it? Yeah. And in that sense, it's not satisfying, like at all. In a sense, it leaves you continuously thinking about it afterwards. And sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes that can be used as a cop-out for being lazy. I don't really know how to feel about this, aside from its base concepts are kind of cool. I enjoyed reading it, technically, but it's not something that really pulls you in unless it's something you're already into. Like if you're into murder mysteries, you'll be interested. If you're interested in, how does this connect to Watchmen? How is this relevant to the Watchmen universe? Like, how does this universe been developing? Blah, blah, blah. Then you'll find it interesting. But if you're, I don't know, it's not flashy. It's not exciting. There are lots of twists, but they're not like, ooh, actually it was Superman. It's like not they're just twists and turns. It's a lot. It's just a lot.
So, would you suggest anybody buy this? And who? And why?
Good question. So Colin will buy it anyways, and I think Colin will like it to some extent. I don't know which parts of it he'll like, but I think he'll enjoy something. I want you to read it because I want to see how you react to it, because I don't know. I can make assumptions and I can like project, but I don't know. So in a sense, I want everyone to read it because I want to interrogate how people read books. But also that's incredibly pretentious of me.
You are, well, Spencer, we've already accepted that you are a pretentious fuck. So
true. It was $30 or $35. I thought it was worth it. I do want it in a paperback though, because I have Watchmen and Doomsday Clock in a paperback, and I don't like this hardcover because it's not like the big premium format black label hardcovers that are cool. Gross. It's just the normal sized hardcover. Me no like it.
Is it only in hardcover?
So far. It'll eventually come out in paperback.
That's gay.
Yeah. I kind of wish I might have hit a sale. It's just with everything else on my shelf is more interesting. The only reason I finished it was because I wanted to. Not because it was easy to. It sounds so weird. I don't know how else to describe it. I don't know.
Interesting. I forgot to get this a little bit of business out of the way at the beginning of the episode. People, our listeners, our longtime listeners especially, may notice that the theme song has changed. So the story behind that is back in October, Colin and I put a lot of work into a new theme song. It was metal and heavy and gross and lovely. And I wanted some feedback because I recognize as a metal head that metal can be an offensive sound to some people. And I just wanted to know if our listeners liked or did not like it, or had suggestions for improvement, or were like, stop messing with the theme song, or whatever. I just needed to hear something from anybody, and I got nothing. So I made the threat and still got nothing, and followed through with the threat. And we have a shitty theme song for the month of February. And that
we didn't even get anything from our patrons.
Exactly. And that is why I call them out in the theme song. Aha!
Good.
I'm scared.
So
thank you to our patrons over at patreon.com/dimecomicbros, Wesley Eaton, Jeff Lawrence, and Dave. You guys keep the lights on. You're a bunch of simps. You guys are great. If you want to get exclusive content like listening to this podcast a few days early, getting the additional segment / podcast Dime Comic Bros Happy Hour, where we knock back a couple of drinks or coffee and just shoot the shit about random stuff and mostly call each other lots of slurs, as well as some exclusive sound bites, random tidbits, behind the scenes content. You can get stickers, blah, 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 blah. We'll say your name. If you make your name a funny meme, we'll say it. So if you make it a real good, like, Bart Simpson calling the tavern joke, like we'll say it every week.
Honestly, it's going to be really difficult to control myself with the Dave memes because right now I just want to do a crazy Dave sound effect every week.
Also, a big thank you to our partners over at Jetpack Comics and Games in Rochester, New Hampshire. They have comics and games and collected editions and manga and some video games, magic cards. They might even have Yu-Gi-Oh cards. They got them Pokemon cards.
Beyblades.
Ooh, they don't have Beyblades.
They don't
they do.
have Pokemon.
Wait,
yeah, they do.
When did they get Beyblades?
They've had Beyblades forever. They're just like really tiny. There's small ones, and then they have like some old ones.
Ooh, I gotta go check those out.
They
also
have some knockoff Legos.
They also got some exclusive cover variants. They got some of those that are signed. I got to pick up one of them Brian Boland covers. So go check them out. Send some support their way from us as they send love our way by being cool and stuff and letting us put stickers on their door and put advertisements in their shop. Go check out our social medias on Twitter and Instagram for updates, memes, news, all sorts of weird stuff.
And also some fun pranks that may be happening, like what I did last week.
Yeah, you had to do that. My bloody eyes are just on fire.
I just
I
love
love
that.
that. I love that. I
love-
shared it on my Instagram.
Nice.
Took
I love
us
that-
like 2 years to get to it, but
Spencer's significant other found it hours before he did.
Wait,
She
can you
did.
send?
I honestly
you
did
gave
that
me
one.
some nice tits, man.
I did that one first because it's my least favorite. It was the first one I did. I still don't like how it came out, but I promise that the next couple will be better.
Oh boy.
No. Oh no.
Go visit our website at dimecomicbros.com. Go check out some of our content. Give us a like, comment, review, subscribe, wherever you're listening, to whatever platform, blah, blah, blah. Go check out our other podcast, Dime Gaming Bros, where Jacob and I talk about video games like weirdos. That's also available on all audio platforms as well as YouTube. Next week, we got news. So we'll be talking about news.
News.
There will be 3 new news dudes. No one's taking a vacation next week. We have to do the meme.
Yes.
Any further thoughts?
No.
I think that's just about it. I got
Bunions.
Yeah. I can't wait to see what else I can come up with for our marketing strategies.
Oh dear God, I'm so scared.
Very
for
excited.
I'm so scared for my sanity, but it's a good type of scared. You know, it's like when you watch a really good horror movie and you're like, I'm gonna pee myself, but like it's okay.
All right. So something I've been wondering lately is like, you know how horror movies have this tendency, this profile to have attractive people, let's say, in it, and maybe mostly partially uncovered, right? So does that mean that the director's intent is to have the viewers scared stiff?
Oh my gosh.
Perhaps.
Yet again, encouraging you to take the reviews that you write out and don't do much of anything with, and just make a
Look at Colin's name.
nice.
Oh, that's fucking great. Continue. Hi, Colin.
You like my fat cock?
Yes,
That's funny.
we have an extra fat cock in the chat.
Okay, let me get rid of that.
Nice. 2 fat cocks.
And
That's
they're both yours. You drinking a beer?
Oh.
A ginger ale?
Yeah.
nice.
I couldn't tell what it is. I don't think I've had that before.
Verner's.
Verner's.
Verner's is
Interesting.
great. Have you not had
Yeah.
Verner's?
Nope.
It's some of the best shit. Yeah, also because I got my stupid fucking tax return, I actually purchased that microphone equipment. Woo. If there's
Nice.
anything else we can think of that we need, that is cool because I still have money. Got my car reinsured. Fucking ballin'. This wiki page is weird. Sorry.
This wiki page is in.
Shut up, you
This
degenerate.
wiki page on him. This wiki page is me.
Okay.
This story, we follow this man known as the Head Lopper. Fuck my asshole, the Head Lopper. Fuck. Maybe mornings aren't that great. Anyway,
This is no worse than you at nighttime.
yeah.
True story.
Yeah, I was there.
So Spencer, what have you been eating your ass with?
What the fuck?